We are gathered here today to honor 119 individuals who have given their lives for the occupation that they loved, and that was in the field of education. Whether they were teachers, principals, school nurses, paraprofessionals, bus drivers, you name it, they loved children and they were there every single day. And unfortunately, tragic circumstances took their lives. And we're also going to pay special tribute today to two whose names we're honoring today that were added since last year's induction ceremony. Historically, we started this after Sandy Hook, when we lost 6 educators tragically that one day. And then the next month, we lost Chuck Pollan, the bus driver in Alabama, to a gunman. And our inductees said we need to do something to remember and make sure that no one forgets what educators do on a daily basis. So we raised money from corporate America, from classrooms, a kindergarten class that fit in $12.39, all the way to George Lucas with a major donation. The NEA and AFT affiliates came through in huge numbers, and what you see here is the finished product of $300,000 raised to honor these fallen educators. So every year we rededicate this sacred place so that we remember the names that are here, dating all the way back to 1764 and the most recent one in March of this year. So today we have some distinguished guests. We're going to try not to keep you in the sun too long. I want to introduce to you Dr. Ken Weaver, who is the Dean of the Teachers College at Emporia State University and also the Chair of our Board of Trustees of the National Teachers Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much, Carol. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the National Teachers Hall of Fame, welcome to our 2017 rededication ceremony. This is a special time every year when we come to this hallowed space and we remember and thank for the ultimate sacrifice that these fallen educators have made. And we conclude this dedication every year with no more. But since we have started this, we've always been back and we've added new names to the tablets. And we are honored to have representatives here from those families who will talk with you shortly. You know, there are a variety of stories and some triumphs, as hard as it is to think about and believe, amidst the tragedy and the sadness that is reflected here and the sacrifice that's reflected on these tablets. For me, one of the major ones is this 1937 Texas. March 18th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teachers, March 18th, 1937 in Texas, lost their lives in New London, Texas, at the London School because of a gas explosion. 295 students and teachers died in that explosion because nobody could smell the gas leaking in the school. So the triumph that came from that tragedy was that we started to add the chemical that made the gas stink so that we could detect it and be able to report when we smelled that scent. There are other stories of the same tragic sadness, but something positive coming from that. So as we gather today once again for another rededication, I would ask that you hold in your heads and your hearts all that are listed here as we continue with our rededication ceremony. Carol?
Thank you. We have some special things happening in Washington, D.C. on behalf of what you see here. This memorial site has been nominated to be a national memorial. And Senator Jerry Moran and Representative Roger Marshall have been working really hard to get that legislation through. And we have representatives from both of their offices here to speak to you today. So I'd like to introduce Blair Benedict, representing Representative Roger Marshall.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have prepared remarks. I'm going to wing this, okay? Prepared remarks are important, but I'd like to I'd like to welcome everybody here on behalf of Congressman Roger Marshall of the 1st District. Really appreciate your patience and the opportunity this brings us here. What I'd like to say first is that the role of educators play within our nation is critical. From teaching students the basic skills of reading and writing to challenge them to critically and expand their knowledge, the influence educators has helped shape the history as the future of our nation. Teachers routinely sacrifice to pursue careers in education. However, today we recognize educators who sacrificed more than they could have ever have imagined when they followed their calling to help young people. 119 names on this memorial should serve as a reminder to all of us to the dedication of our educators. Through the National Fallen Educator Memorial Act, Congressman Roger Marshall is proud to partner with Senator Jerry Moran and the members of our delegation to do our small part in ensuring we have an appropriate place to remember these men and women. I would like to commend Emporia State University and the National Teachers Hall of Fame for the foresight and leadership to make this memorial a reality. Thank you, and may God bless.
And now representing Senator Jerry Moran is Joe Badger.
Thank you all for the opportunity to join you today in honoring these fallen educators who certainly did so much to deserve our recognition. Senator Moran regrets that he can't be here today in person. I know that if he could, he would be. He is in Washington, D.C. today. I'm glad to be here in this place. Very, very pleased to be here. We all know what an important role teachers play in each of our lives as individuals, but they play such an important role in our society and making sure that we have an educated society and doing no small part, a very significant part, in securing the future of our country, and have done so since even before its founding. Unfortunately, we're here because teachers, educators do lose their lives in the course of their professional duty, and we feel it's our responsibility as Americans to make sure that they're duly recognized for their sacrifice and their family's sacrifice. To that end, last year Senator Moran introduced in the Senate the National Memorial to Fallen Educators Act to bring national memorial designation to this site. He's introduced it again in the 115th Congress in January, and just earlier this month, the Committee of Jurisdiction in the Senate, the Senate Natural Resources and Environment Committee, approved the bill, reported it favorably, clearing the way for floor action. So we're very hopeful that that can occur soon. Senator Moran will continue to advocate for that to happen as quickly as possible and tell the story of this site to his colleagues in Congress. Again, appreciate the opportunity to join you here today. Really grateful that such a site exists, and pleased to be here. So thank you very much, Kate.
I would now like to introduce two very special people that I've gotten to know this year. The National Education Association has over 3 million members, and of that part, a large number are people called education support professionals, and they are a vital part of our classes, our schools, and we often say that the first person a child sees every morning is probably the bus driver. The second one is probably somebody who works in the lunch line for breakfast. And maybe the third one is a paraprofessional or someone who's out in the hallway. And then eventually they get to the classroom. And so the education support professionals, called ESPs, rightfully so, are a very vital part of everything we do in education. And there are many ESPs on this memorial wall. So today we're very honored to have from the state of Washington, Debbie Chandler, who is the president of the NEA ESPs, and this year's 2017 National ESP of the Year from Massachusetts, Saul Ramos. So please come forward.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here on such a beautiful sunny Thursday afternoon. We will all have no difficulty finding common language today, and that is not English that I'm speaking. It's what we hold common today is gratitude, respect, affection for Carrie and all the educators who lost their lives doing what they love most. We will recall those small moments we had with Carrie that had such a great impact. We will remember how she made us smile, how hard she worked, how much she loved her job, decorating her bus at the holidays, welcoming her students, knowing everything about every student that got on her bus. But if she were here today, Carrie would share her love for her students. That's what truly defined her and what made her a hero to so many. And that's the commitment that all educators have for their students. When I was growing up back in Washington, I looked up to all my educators in school, and they were my heroes. They pushed and challenged me to follow my dreams and find my passions. They gave me self-confidence and the ability to fight through the toughest moments. I am here today because of educators like Carrie. We can never really imagine our educators losing their lives in the line of duty. We could never conceive of our lives being cut short by cowardly and callous acts of violence or tragic accidents while doing what they love the most. But we must never forget that in the heart of every educator pumps the blood of sacrifice, grit, and a vow to ensure that their students not only get a great education, but are protected, safe, cared for, and loved. And so, the family of the Colorado school bus driver, Carrie Chopper, I extend our deepest condolences to you and your family for the tragic death of your beloved Carrie. In situations like this, there are often more questions than there are answers. But we do know one thing in life. Life is a precious gift to all of us. We should use every moment to hug a little bit more, express gratitude and appreciation a little more, and show love toward another just a little bit more. It has been said that everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die. And even though we understand this teaching, none of us is ever ready for our loved ones to go.
Good afternoon. On behalf of all ESPs across the nation, I extend my prayers and heartfelt condolences to the Chopper family. It has been said, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. Carrie Chopper loved her job as a bus driver and was known to chase perfection every day as an educator. She was excellent at what she did, not because she could drive a bus. She was excellent because she believed in her power to make a difference in the lives of her students. Whether it was a word of advice or just a kind word, Carrie gave her students just what they needed to start the day and to get ready for the next. When you make the decision to become an educator, you understand that job is more than what you do. That's the easy part. The hard part is holding on to why we do it. Our why is always our students, and the why of what we do compels us to make the ultimate sacrifice. We are asked to stand back to push our students forward. We have to show courage when they are afraid, and sometimes our lives are sacrificed so that they may live. This is what heroes do, whether they are known or unsung, and whether we are a classroom teacher, a bus driver, cafeteria worker, administrative staff, or a paraeducator in the classroom. We wake up every day to fight for our students, to care for them, to educate them, and prepare them for the next chapter in their lives. Carrie did that, and she did it well. She cast her stones across the water to create ripples for generations to come.
Yes, we all miss her. But more importantly, what will we do with the lessons she left behind? How will we carry on her legacy? Will we give our all for everything we believe and to everything we do, no matter the cost? I know I will even more from this day forward. I was so inspired by the story of Carrie's husband, the one he shared, that he and Carrie made breakfast together that morning and said, "I love you" to one another on the day she died. That touched my heart, and it has inspired me to never forget that is what is most important in life, because we never know when it will be our last. Again, I'm praying for the courage and strength during this difficult time for all of you. Thank you.
We are now at the point in the program to pay special tribute to the two names that we've added. The names have been engraved on the book, and the first one is Angelica Beard, who was an elementary school teacher and a track coach for the high school, who tragically lost her life earlier this year. Paying tribute to her family could not be here today, but Jennifer Baldwin from the National Teachers Hall of Fame will pay tribute to her. Jennifer?
I am so honored to be the voice of the Beard family today. Angelica J. Beard was known for her smile. It could light up a room and make our heart feel full of love and life. Her 15-year-old stepson remembered her as always happy, never sad. She was born in Jacksonville, North Carolina on April 10, 1986, to two proud parents. Her passion in life is coaching. She loved to motivate and get people up and moving. This passion began early in her life, and it continued on through her college career. She was a graduate of Philip Randolph High School in New York, and also Southwestern Christian College in Terrell, Texas, and Texas A&M University in Commerce, Texas. She quickly transitioned into teaching and soon married the love of her life. Their twins were born, completing their family. Angelica Beard adored her twin daughters and helped support her husband's two youngsters from a previous marriage, loving her perfect family. Angelica took a new job at Mount Pleasant Independent School District as the girls' track coach and physical education teacher, and the family was living their dream. Angelica was driving back to Mount Pleasant High School the night that she died. She was one of two people killed, and because of a terrible accident, the family will never be the same. She is survived by her husband, her children, and many a family who will all miss her beautiful smile.
And now paying tribute to Carrie Chopper. We have, I think, 9 members of her family here with us today from Colorado. Benjamin, her son, and her brother Jeff Gondreau will come and speak to you today, bringing words from their family. Jeff?
Thank you very much for the kind words, for the recognition. To my sister, Carrie. She was my little sister, but she loomed large with everybody that she came in contact with. Through her through her words and wanting to make sure that everybody that she spoke with, that she said hi to, could have a smile on their face, could take a little bit of joy into their day. She dedicated her life to the students that stepped on that bus as much as she dedicated her life to her family. All of those students were her family. I miss my sister.
I was going along a lot like Jeff. She was my mother, and just like Jeff said, she treated everybody like family. She did not just solely focus on just her family. She treated everybody like she cared just as much. Whether it was at school, on the bus, dropping students off at practice, it didn't matter. She made sure that they got there safe and that they were happy. She did the best she could, and she did a very, very good job at what she did.
Thank you again. Thank you very much.
This is so tough on the family, but we appreciate your words, and we hope that knowing that Carrie Chopper's name and Angelica Beard's name will be on a national memorial that will be here forever continues the legacy that you've been talking about. So our hearts go out to you. I know that afterward you're going to get some hugs and lots of encouragement. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of closure and some answers in knowing that Carrie's legacy lives on. We have a tradition here each year. We include our inductee class in the laying of the wreath. And this is a wreath that is placed here for the next few months so that people will pass by and remember that we're continuing to pay tribute. And, oh, Abigail, you need to lay the rose. I'm sorry. Please do that. This is for Carrie. This is Carrie's daughter, Abigail. And the laying of the wreath now by the class of 2017, Ashley Dreher from New York, Jonathan Gillentine from Hawaii, Matinga Ragaz from Michigan, Bob Williams from Alaska, and Joe Rule from Indiana will come and place the wreath. If you look at the wreath later, you will notice that our ribbon is a ruler symbolizing school, and the apples in the center indicating education. And that's our symbol for this particular memorial. I would now like to turn the microphone over to Jonathan Gillentine from Hawaii. He has created something called an oli, and he will explain it to you, and it's a tribute.
This oli, this traditional Hawaiian chant, was composed for this occasion. It speaks of the grief, the reverence, and the respect reflected in this sacred place. It calls to the lei of each of the islands of Hawaii to be woven together as a symbol of peace and aloha.
Wahala o ko ka ko kumukoa. Ue ho ie. Elei pupu o ni haue. Elei mokihana e. Elei ilima e. Elei kuku e. Elei kauna oe. Elei lokelani e. Elei hina hina e. Elei leihua e. E vili mai ke apa hamolale. E aloha mai. E aloha no. E aloha e.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, and the class of 2017. To all of you who are here today, please take a moment to talk to each other, hug each other, love each other a little more, as Debbie said. Remember these names that are here, and as we move forward to make it a better world, I'd like to ask you for just a moment of silence right now as we think about what has been said, what's transpired, and to remember the lives that have lived this beautiful life and gave it for the education profession that they chose. Thank you so much for today. We'll get you out of the hot sun. Please stay and visit. There's cold water over here. The one-room schoolhouse is open and it's air conditioned if you'd like to stay and visit. Linger as long as you wish. We appreciate your time, your effort, your love for these people and for everything that the educators in America do. So let us remember today as a stopping point for anything happening. We don't want to add any more names to this memorial wall. And hopefully next year when we meet, we'll just be celebrating these 119 and not adding any more. So please remember these people in your prayers. Remember the family of Carrie Chopper as they travel back to Colorado. And for all the people who are here today, thank you so much. We appreciate your support.